Hello and welcome to Metal Vice, a podcast where we talk about all things music.
Well, the things we care about.
That's right, which is mainly metal music and live music. I'm your host, Brian, joining the other host,
Karen.
And today's episode title, I think we're going to call it the 66.6% show.
66.6%
That's probably a better way to say it, yeah. And we'll get into why exactly that is, or we can do it right now. We saw 2 out of the 3 bands, basically.
Yeah. Not by our choice, but...
Not by our choice, and we'll get into that. And the bands for this that we're going to talk about are Meshuggah, Cannibal Corpse, and Carcass. So if you're watching this on YouTube, you'll notice my battle vest for Headbangers boat last year. So yeah, I make a battle vest each year for Headbangers boat, have patches for every band that we're going to see on that boat. It's just sort of a fun little thing I do for the boat.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun to build and sew those on. I actually really enjoy it. So that was what I made last year. And if I ever see one of those bands on that boat again, I wear the vest to that show just to commemorate the seeing them again type thing. And
hopefully soon you have like 10 vests.
Yeah. Well, not soon. That'd be
well, no, in 10 years.
8 years or
8
whatnot.
years, yeah.
In any case.
I'm just saying hopefully it keeps going so you can keep having vests.
In any case, Carcass was one of those bands last year. They were going to be here at this show. I was super excited to see them in. I really like Carcass, so cool, let's break out the vest, let's wear that. Also, I'm wearing my Evil Nation shirt.
Yeah.
I wore this to the show as well because we found out about this shirt, this company.
Oh, yeah.
Because of Carcass.
Because of Carcass, where I honestly thought you were wearing the shirt last night because it was a LiveNation venue and you were like, I'm going to wear my Evil Nation shirt to say, fuck you, venue.
Also, yes, but mainly because of Carcass.
Because of Carcass. I forgot about that when we saw Carcass, was it the vocalist had?
Yep, Jeff had the shirt on, the Evil Nation shirt on, and that was at Concord with Hatebreed, for their 30th anniversary.
Yep.
And then on the boat, he also wore that. And
I didn't notice that on the boat. Yeah.
We saw that show right before the boat, so we couldn't get them delivered in time to wear it for the boat.
Right.
I was
Are you
really
going to take them this year
disappointed.
for the boat?
I might,
I bet you'll get a lot of comments, yeah. Well, if people notice, because you'll wear your vest all the time. But
we did a 666 on that as well. We'll post a thing up here if you're watching it on YouTube, as well as in the comments or the description of this, both on the whatever streaming platform you have or YouTube. We'll put a link up to their website as well.
Yeah,
really cool. They don't have as much merch anymore. I think they just have one shirt. This is the baseball shirt, which I'm glad that we picked up. Hopefully they bring it back someday. This is a really cool shirt.
Yeah,
but that's why I wore this shirt.
Makes sense.
That's
now.
why I wore the vest.
I wasn't putting it all together, so. And
we didn't talk about that. You mentioned this was an LiveNation venue. This venue was Aragon Ballroom. We've seen plenty of shows there. I really like Aragon Ballroom. Sort of. We'll get into that here in a little bit.
Yeah, ish.
The show we saw was on Tuesday, April 1st, April Fool's Day. And yeah, this was just the North American tour for Meshuggah with Cannibal Corpse and Carcass. I was super fucking excited for this show going into it. I love all those bands, and it was like, holy shit, this is going to be a fucking great night. Ticket prices real quick before getting into this too far. $28.25 with $13.25 in fees, or 46%?
Yeah,
47%.
Almost 47%.
Fee rate, and then $4.16 in tax.
And this was a BOGO from the LiveNation Valentine's sale?
Yeah, they had a LiveNation Valentine's sale because it was like, buy a ticket for you and your loved one or the person you want to date or some shit like that. Take a date out type thing.
So you bought me a ticket?
I did. And we talked about this with the last episode we did of Whitechapel.
Yeah.
Because that just seems so cheap for that Whitechapel show.
Yeah, that might have been a BOGO as well.
Like $27 for Whitechapel tickets for that
Whitechapel?
show. Yeah, Whitechapel tickets. So I think we bought both of these at the same time. I haven't looked into that yet, but whatever. $28.25 for this plus 13, so you're looking at $40 or so for tickets, just a little over. Not a bad price for this show for these 3 bands.
Yeah, it's like $62 per
I think it was like 69 or something for tickets, or maybe 64 for tickets originally, whatever you got. But yeah, BOGO deal, so 2 tickets split, whatever, whatever.
Not bad. So let's start. So there was 3 bands.
Yes.
We were planning on seeing all 3 bands.
Yeah, I really wanted to. The ticket said 7 o'clock was the show, which, we've had this debate back and forth of like, all right, is 7 o'clock the show or is it doors? I can't remember how Aragon does it, but I'm pretty sure the price, or not the price, the time is the time of the show.
Yeah.
And we've had
and
this.
that's what we planned on.
Yeah, and that's what we planned on. And we've had the same conversation with other people in line before where they show up at like 7 and they're like, wait, when's the show start? And like, no, it's 7.
Yeah.
The door,
but
this
every
isn't door
venue
times.
does it differently. And
They
that,
do.
That kind of sucks. And even on like their website, it doesn't say, some of the websites say like 7 o'clock show, 6 p.m. doors or whatever. And Aragon does not do that.
And only bring that up because when we finally get to the venue, there was still a very long line for this. But getting to the venue was a hassle.
It was for us, yeah. We are transit people.
Public transit, yep.
Public transit. I drive, but I don't like to drive. So we take transit everywhere.
And so it's probably 5 o'clock on a Tuesday night that we start to head up to the show. And we're going to stop. There's a McDonald's near the venue that we were going to stop and get some cheap food.
Prime dinner spot at McDonald's.
Yeah, I mean, we had the points, so we were going to get like free cheeseburgers and shit. So whatever.
Like we're going to use the app to get all these deals to eat for like $5. So.
Yeah, so whatever. Not the greatest meal, but I enjoy McDonald's quite a bit. Whatever. So we go to the red line, which is how you get to Aragon. It's north of the city on the red line, basically right on the red line.
Yep. You have to either get off at Wilson or Argyle right now because Lawrence is closed. Well, it's been closed for like 7 years, but it's been closed for a while.
But that will open up, and it's like basically right there.
Yep.
So, and even Lawrence and Argyle are just a 5-minute walk.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Super, super close. All those stops are like so close.
So very, very convenient for the red line. So we trek our way up to the red line near us. We get to the platform and we're standing there. And it's like an 11-minute wait for the next red line, according to the ticker that they have up there going north. And we're standing there for a few moments. And then they come over the intercom of like, we have an unauthorized individual on the tracks. We are experiencing delays because of that reason. Okay, cool, whatever. Some dipshits on the fucking tracks and doing whatnot. They said they had personnel there to get them, basically get them off the tracks. And yeah, fuck it. And they're just going to delay us for a few moments. A little bit longer, maybe just a minute or two later, they come back on the intercom system and they're like, we're experiencing delays due to an unauthorized person on the tracks. We recommend you find alternative transportation. So we've lived here in Chicago now 10 years. And as you said, we've been heavy public transit people the entire time.
Yeah. I mean, for the first like 5 years, we didn't even use like Uber or taxis or anything. It was all transit.
Yeah, so. Take the bus, take the trains.
Yep.
Mainly the trains. I hate the buses.
Oh, yeah, you do.
But in that 10 years, I have never... Well, I don't think I've ever heard them say that we have an unauthorized person on the tracks. I've never heard them say that. But I have never heard them say we're experiencing a delay. Find another alternative to move, like get to where you're going.
Yeah.
I have never heard them say that. So in my head, I'm like, oh, this motherfucker's dead. Yeah. They must have tripped the third rail. They must have got shot by the trigger happy cops or some shit. I don't know what happened, but this motherfucker's dead. So it's going to take hours to clean up the body and take photos and document everything and get them
we had
off.
no confirmation if somebody was just on the tracks or if somebody had died. This is all just in your head.
Yeah, this is all in my head.
Yeah.
Did you look anything up about this?
No, there was no post or anything about it. So I'm assuming it was just literally somebody just on the tracks.
And probably just got them off. Okay.
Yeah.
But I had never heard that. And so I was like, what the fuck do we do now? There's a restaurant near us. So we're like, let's go to that restaurant, get dinner there, whatever. And we'll take an Uber up to the venue. We'll let traffic hopefully die down a little bit, get a little bit past rush hour, whatnot. The train's not going to be moving anyway. So we sit down at dinner, and basically as soon as we put our order in, you look at the app, and yep, trains are rolling again.
Yep. Yeah, it wasn't that long, so we could have been patient and waited like 10 minutes.
So I was like, fuck, why did you put that announcement of like find other alternative routes and whatnot? Yeah. And I think you had made the suggestion of, well, we could take the, like a different train line up to Belmont and get on the red line there, I think is what you were saying.
Yeah, yep. Or take it to Belmont, and if the red line's not running, then take the Broadway bus up there because it's on Broadway. So. And
that's the thing. I don't know what street it's. I don't know the streets that well. I know the train lines decently well, so I didn't know what buses to take or whatnot.
I knew.
Should have listened to you. But my thought was like the red line definitely won't be running because if it's stopped here, it's going to be stopped everywhere because they're not going to bunch them all up.
But okay, this isn't a CTA But I do know that like if something happens like down south or, you know, like south of the loop or north of the loop, they will take the red line and they actually use the loop. They transition them to the loop and then they do an upper loop and then, instead of the subway.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yep. I've seen that especially during rush hour, which this was, to keep transit moving. Like it'll use.
But I guess this was pretty far south where this individual, they were at Soxfield 35th. So that you couldn't have done that there, right? Like,
no. It would have been like, we would have had to get to the loop somehow.
In any case, my mind was the trains aren't going to be running regardless because you don't want to bunch all the trains up because it just causes more delays. This morning I was thinking about it. I think we could have taken the purple line because I think the purple line lets off at Wilson. That's the last stop before that long.
Yeah, we don't think about that because
I did not think about that.
Yeah, so we could have went to the loop and then take that purple line. Yeah.
So I was like, fuck, that would have been.
Yep.
So in any case, we fucked that up. It pissed me off that this motherfucker was on the track, causing me to be delayed and miss out on shit for me. I was upset about it.
Yeah, because we didn't even leave the restaurant until 7.
No, we got there.
6:45.
Yeah, maybe it was about 7 because we finally got up to Wilson, walked over to the venue, and again, like I said, there was already still a long line, and it's probably what, like 7.
I know it was after
7:40.
It was after 7:30 because I remember seeing on the train it clicking to 7:30. I was like, oh, Carcass is done. Like in my brain, I'm just like, oh, it's done. Like we missed the whole thing.
Yeah, and I kind of knew that too. Like it's 7:30. They only probably get like 20 minutes, maybe 40 minutes. They're done.
Yeah.
And so we get up there and the line is already up to the end of the block, I think. And I was like, God damn, the line is long.
Yeah, so we hadn't crossed the street yet. And I was like, well, there's a line. So, and even the people that were either right in front of us or right behind us were like, oh no, the doors were at 7. Like we'll get in, like we'll be fine.
And that's where I was like, I'm pretty sure the show was 7 and not the doors, but it did give me a glimmer of hope. The line wouldn't be this long. It would not be this long if it started at 7. People would have been here ahead of time. People are starting to show up to shows early. The line wouldn't be this long.
Until we got to the alley.
Yeah, because we got to the alley and they're doing loadout and you see like the drum kit pieces moving out and the amps moving out. And I was like, fuck. It's over Carcass is over because like there's no fucking way that you're loading gear
they're loading out.
Like there's no fucking way you're doing that. And so this is why I'm not wearing the vest for this show, is because we didn't see Carcass.
Oh, that's what this whole conversation was about?
It was just sort of a conversation. I forgot to bring that up earlier, so I just threw it in right there.
Cool. But you wore it all night. You wore the vest all night.
Yeah, but I'm not going to hold it. Like it's on.
Yeah,
so
that'd be awkward.
In any case.
Could have co-checked it.
I could have co-checked my vest. I could have done that, yeah.
Like, no, I can't wear it. Sorry.
No. But we work our way up through security, get our tickets done.
Oh, security there sucks.
I
don't want to go into a whole 15-minute conversation about it, but it sucks.
Yeah, and I've said this on other podcasts about this particular venue. I really, really do love the Aragon. I think the venue is phenomenal. It's this old, ornate building. It's so beautiful in there.
Like it used to be like a skating rink. It used to be like a ballroom dancing area. And it's so much history and everything.
It's supposed to be like a Italian or a Spanish courtyard or something. And you can see that. Like it's in a beautiful fucking building, a great fucking place to see a venue. You love it because the stage is so high that you can see it from anywhere.
Yeah, you can see almost anywhere.
It's fucking great. I love that venue. And I knew that like I've been to a few shows before. My biggest complaint with this venue is getting in and getting out is a pain in the fucking ass. Getting out, especially if you coat check something.
Yeah.
Because that's down in the basement and it's an awkward, weird way to get down there and back up and whatnot. Because it just doesn't work that well. So getting out sucks if you coat check something. Getting in was always a pain in the ass because security was just fucking garbage. I saw them throw chapstick away because they thought they were drugs or something. I don't know. It was stupid as fuck. And the first show I took you there, no problem. Just walk straight in.
We had no problem for like the first 3 shows.
And I was like, well, all right, I guess I do like this venue because I used to hate that venue so much because of that security process. Now, the last few shows we've seen has been fucking garbage for security.
I've heard at the last show and this show, maybe even before that, but like the last 2 I remember, you could not take a lighter. You could not take open cigarettes. Like... Yeah. They're so, and like you said, like they threw away chapstick. I've had my gum looked at before and I'm like, it's fucking gum. Like, I don't know.
It's fucking weird. And the thing is like, I went through the security line, and you go through this metal detector. You take your shit out of your pockets, have it down by your side, and walk through the metal detector. I did that. It didn't go off for me at all. I'm wearing a belt. I have this vest on that has little metal pins all over the place. You directly behind me go through, and you get scanned.
And like, the first thing she said is like, "Do you have a belt on?" I'm like, "No."
And then you get wanded down.
Yeah. 3 times.
Before I went through, like every person, it scanned, and she had to wand them down. So it's like,
you might as well just do the wand.
Right.
If your scanners don't work, just use the wand.
Or fix the scanners or something. It seemed almost random to me.
Yeah, maybe.
And
maybe it is random that way. I mean, like if it actually goes off, or if it's just like a random like ding or something, like.
And at this point, like my conspiracy brain is going off because it's a LiveNation venue. They want to squeeze every ounce of, every penny out of you they can. I do know at this venue you can buy a fast lane ticket.
Oh, yeah, they do have that. Yeah.
Because I've seen people before, and I saw them this night as well. Just walk right past the line, and you walk straight in because you have that $40 fast lane ticket.
Yeah.
So a part of me is wondering in my head again, if these scanners are purposely faulty so that you have to slow down the entry process to make people the next time be like, fuck that, I'm going to skip this and do the fast lane ticket. That's where my conspiracy brain of this went.
Yeah. The last couple of times we went to the venue, this time, I mean, obviously we were 30 minutes late because of the train fucking situation. But we've been to this venue where it's like the line is all the way down to like wherever that pizza place is. Like,
it wraps around the block and down like another block.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, maybe they do purposely do it slow or like have a slow process to try to get people to buy money. But like by the time we got to the door, like I was so pissed about like that whole situation that like when I went through and she was like, "Oh, do you have a belt on?" I'm like, "No." And then she's like, "Do this, do this, do this." And I'm just like, I didn't even say like, "Thank you, have a good night" or anything. I was just I wasn't pissed at her.
Right,
I was pissed at the situation. And that's not me. Like I'm normally like super nice to everybody and I'm just like, whatever. But I was just like, this is fucking stupid.
And like, again, like we missed Carcass because of the train situation, which it's just sort of like, it snowballed.
It snowballed, yeah.
And then every single thing just sort of like got worse and worse and worse and whatnot. But yeah, then, we get in, you go get merch. I go to the bathroom, which
merch sucked too.
Merch always sucks there.
Like the merch, like, cause there's lines, but then all of a sudden a random person will just come up and be like, "I can help you." And like just a random, like,
it's the Detroit Metallica aspect where you have one thing with 4 different people helping you and just a swarm of people. Yeah. You try to queue up nicely, but then somebody else will just swoop in from the other side and like and whatnot.
Yeah. And there's a pole in the middle, so they call people from both sides. Yep. I don't know. It's just it's so stupid.
It's not a great experience. That's also the first show was the Ministry show last year. You were in Ireland.
Oh, I was in Ireland, yeah.
And I asked them like, "Do you take a merch cut?" And sure, like these people working here are part of the venue working.
Oh, not the merch. Not the merch.
Yeah, these aren't the band's merch people or whatnot. These are employees of LiveNation. So whatever, I get it. People need to work. I
shouldn't have given them a tip then.
No, definitely not.
You should have told me.
I'm not going to sit there in front of them and be like, "Don't tip them."
No, you should have told me before walking up, like, no tip.
But I'm also like, when I bought beer that night, I did leave a tip too. I think I'll tip. Just
hopefully
I'm doing the
lowest. Yeah, I don't know. Anyways. We do try to tip when it's the band merch or the merch people with the band.
The main thing I wanted to talk about here, though, is another main reason I love this venue is the super secret male bathroom in the back. There's always a massive line of people waiting to use the urinals. And there's a second room to the bathroom where the stalls are. So when you're standing in line, all you see is the stalls. And you see wash stations, but there's wash stations in the same area. So whatever. People are like, if I don't need to use the stall, I'm not going to. I'll stand here for the urinal. But if you go back there, there's another row of urinals plus a couple troughs as well. So it's like,
don't wait in line.
Nobody ever sees that. And I don't always tell people about it, but this night I was more generous and be like, as I walked out, like, "Hey, there's more back there, guys." And then you saw a bunch of people go back there. So
yeah,
I do love this because of the super secret male bathroom that nobody ever uses. So I never have to wait in line for the bathroom here at this venue.
The beginning of this is so funny because we're like, we fucking hate this venue. Oh, we like the venue. We fucking hate the venue. We like the venue.
But that's the thing. Like, I love this venue. There's the small little things that really, really piss me off. One of the small things or massive things is fucking LiveNation owning it.
Yeah.
And then again,
If LiveNation owns it, why can't they fix the fucking sign?
What
like,
sign?
don't they have the Aragon sign?
Oh, that was
don't they have
lit up
money
last time. I think it.
Don't they have money to fix that?
I think it's recent that went out, and probably you have to wait for parts or something. I don't know.
You're giving them too much grace there. But also, this night, and we've been there during the summer, but this night, they had the fucking heat on, like, up to, like, 80 degrees or something.
So, yeah, you go up the stairs, and as soon as, like, it's pretty decent down there in the main floor.
In the lobby area.
I was like, all right, this is good. This is going to be nice. You walk up to that main floor, and it just hits you in the face with the hot air.
As soon as you get up the stairs. Like, it's not even, like, you don't even have to walk anywhere. It's just, like, as soon as you get to the top of the stairs.
And as the night progressed, my conspiracy brain, yet again, was going to LiveNation.
Drink more?
In my head, I was like, I bet they have this on purposefully. I know it's cold outside, but you have so many people in here. The body heat and the movement's going to warm things up.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to be this hot. You left it on so people get overheated, so they have to buy water or beer to cool off or to like quench their thirst and whatnot.
Yeah. I thought it was on so high upstairs because it was chillier downstairs because they had the doors open all night. So in my mind, I'm like, oh, did the workers want it warm downstairs? And to do that, it's not like separated. So to have it warmer downstairs, you have to have the heat on upstairs.
That's funny because we have noticed that at restaurants where it's like insanely hot in the restaurant, but then you go back by the kitchen and it's freezing.
Yeah.
By the kitchen.
Yeah. And it's like, oh, are you cold? And yeah. Just like that.
So same thing.
Yeah.
But no, again, my conspiracy brain then is like, they're slowing down the line to make sure they make more money. Then they're turning up the heat, so you have to buy shit. Fuck LiveNation. Fuck this place. Fuck everyone. Like, that's where my head was at for this. In any case, while we were getting merch and all of that, Cannibal Corpse started playing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So why don't you read off their set? We're not going to go over Carcass's set because we didn't see it. I did not add them to our playlist either, but I did add Cannibal Corpse. So why don't we talk about their set real quick?
They start with Scourge of Iron, Bloodblind, Inhumane Harvest, Evisceration Plague. I'm probably not saying that right. Deathwalking Terror, Unleashing the Bloodthirsty, Summon for Sacrifice, I Come Blood, Stripped, Raped, Strangled, and then they ended with Hammer Smashed Face.
Stripped, Raped, and Strangled.
Oh, sorry. Stripped, Raped, and Strangled. Good thing we're not monetized because that set list would have just like...
You can't say that shit?
No. You have to say like graped, or you have to say
That's
like
so fucking stupid. Why?
Yeah,
like
I don't know. It's
fuck.
like the term. I mean, we're not monetized, so it
No.
doesn't really matter. But yeah, like
I have
you
noticed that on like Instagram and stuff too. Like when they do like the
typing,
they misspell it.
Yeah.
But then the words are fuck. And it's like, what the fuck are you doing, asshole?
No, like, and you can't say like murder. You have to say like unalived and shit
For
like
real?
that. Yeah,
That's so fucking stupid.
I mean, I listen to a lot of murder shit, but yeah, like you have to say like unalive or something like that because they will flag you like so.
What about only murders in the movie or building?
Building?
Are they allowed to say that? Because
that's true. I don't know.
Fuck these
like
people.
If you're doing like a like synopsis of the show or something. Yeah, I don't know.
Fucking thin-skinned fucknuts.
Yeah, I don't know.
Fucking assholes.
But anyways, I'm just saying like Cannibal Corpse's set list would have got us flagged.
Whatever. I'm never doing that. Even if we somehow get monetized, I'm not like whatever that episode.
No, we'll keep talking like how we normally talk.
Fucking
like,
stupid.
I mean, I don't know how you anyways, this isn't about YouTube but I don't know how you like fight that, but like I mean we would fight it. We'd be like, no, we're reading off a set list.
Yeah.
This is exactly what our platform is.
This is art. These are songs to art.
Yeah.
Like it's not my fault you don't like this art. Doesn't mean that it's not art.
Right.
Like fuck you, asshole.
I mean,
any case.
It's not our fault that the band screams that they're spitting blood out their cock or squirting blood out their cock. What is it?
Well, Guar would be fucked for this.
Oh, I know.
In any case, we're going off a deep end here. Getting back on track just a little bit.
No, we're not. This is gonna be all over the fucking place.
Cannibal Corpse, it already is. Is a band that the first time I saw them was Decibel. Beer and Metal Fest, the first one, 2023.
Yeah, the first night. Yep.
I liked it, but didn't like it.
I would agree with you. Yep. I liked the music. I didn't like the interaction.
I liked the interaction and didn't like the music.
Okay.
I thought the interaction was fun.
See, and I thought the interaction was stupid, and I'm like, I'm not into this at all.
I don't know. It just wasn't hitting right for me and whatnot. Then we saw Cannibal Corpse last year.
Oh yeah.
For the second time
Amon Amarth,
with Amon Amarth, and that show was fucking phenomenal.
Yeah.
I loved that
Yeah.
show. I can't remember if it was one of my top shows last year or not, but I do remember really, really loving that show. Even Cannibal Corpse. I went in not expecting to like it as much.
So we even so we got there, we kind of stood in the back a little bit because it was packed. It was at the Sylvie in Madison, I think.
Oh, Madison was packed, right? I thought you were talking about Aragon.
Oh, no,
we didn't even
yeah.
mention that. When we got up there, it was fucking full, and there were so many people again in line trying to get
coming in, and it wasn't a sold out show.
I don't think
I'm
it
like,
was.
I would not want to see this if it was sold out.
Yeah,
because it was so packed.
I was not expecting that.
Yeah. But talking about the Madison show really quick about seeing Cannibal Corpse. So I think the openers were Frozen Soul and Obituary.
Yeah.
So we kind of just stood in the back there for a little bit. And then I wanted a Frozen Soul shirt. So we went over to the merch. And I even told you, I was just like, do you want during Cannibal Corpse? Like, we could even, I think they had like a little smoking area. I'm like, we could just go outside.
Yeah.
If we, like,
I was kind of expecting to leave a little bit.
I was like, I don't really want to see that. Like, I'm just not into it sort of thing. And then after merch, we kind of just stood in the back a little bit, and then I think it just like we didn't go down on the floor, but like it just drew us in where like we didn't end up going outside or anything. We watched the whole, pretty much the whole performance after the merch and everything like that. So I think it changed our mindset on Cannibal Corpse, seeing it.
Yeah, I don't know what it was. Like I enjoyed the music so much more there. I enjoyed again the crowd banter and whatnot. I still enjoyed that.
Yeah, I would say the crowd banter this. Even the show or the Madison show, like it didn't bother me as much. So I don't know what the whole situation was in Denver.
Yeah, we've talked about that. It could have just been our first time seeing so many like death metal bands and whatnot.
That's true. Yeah.
But we have talked about like personally our tastes in music have changed over the years of starting this podcast and listening to so much more music and exploring so much more music.
So many different bands too, like in different styles and stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. We've talked about like over the couple years of just starting this podcast and exploring different music and whatnot, that our tastes have changed.
Yeah. Or acceptance to other bands. And, like, I was so much like Disturbed, Linkin Park, that lighter metal. And now, I don't know, like my catalog's changed so much.
Yeah, for sure. So like maybe that's part of it.
Yeah.
I think a big part of it for me anyway is just getting to know Corpse Grinder a little better.
Yeah.
The dude's a fucking weird, not weirdo. The dude fucking loves claw machines.
Yes.
And there's like videos I've seen of him online. He goes to claw machines and like to like a Walmart and just catches every claw machine. And he's like this on stage, this big scary motherfucker. And no, he's like just the sweetest fucking teddy bear of a man apparently.
Yeah. He goes to Disney World a lot.
He loves fucking Disney World.
I want to see him in Disney World sometime. Like there's so many Disney people that like, if you see them, it's like, oh my gosh, we ran into one my last trip with my mom and aunt.
Oh, you're really big on the Disney people. Yeah.
And so but seeing Corpse Grinder there would be like one of those people for me as well. I would go crazy.
I don't know why, but in my head, I just imagine him with like either a bag of popcorn or a pretzel and then like the goofy hat with the goofy ears and just smiling ear to ear as he walks through that place. Like I can just see him being that, and it's like, you're like one of the scariest motherfuckers in metal, yet you're like the sweetest motherfucker. Like, I don't know, this guy seems super fucking cool. And to me, I think that is what has turned me around on the music. The same thing is true for Ice Nine Kills. Like after meeting Miles at the airport last year in Madrid, before that I was like, Ice Nine Kills is fine. It's not my go-to music. I have listened to their music so much more now because of meeting Miles and just being like a down-to-earth dude. Like,
no, I agree. I think once you get that personal connection with people, same with meeting Zethro or meeting, seeing Lamb of God multiple times, granted we've had pictures with them, but it's not like you can't talk or anything.
No, but going to like the Q&As.
Q&As, yeah. So, I think it just gives that more personal connection with the bands.
Yeah.
And maybe maybe we need to do more meet and greets or something like that. Just a lot of times the prices are so high that we can't. But it does give you more of that like personal connection with the bands.
For sure, yeah. I don't know, but that was definitely one thing for me is like it turned around. And again, their set list, I really enjoyed their music. We were super far back, so whatever it is,
we were
what it is.
up on that. There's like a step up thing, looking in between one of the pillars. So
yeah, it's also this night during maybe this performance I noticed, but in the back of Aragon they have this raised up platform. I always thought that was like the ADA seating. I think that's just like a VIP purchase, so you can see above the crowd. Because I didn't see any like ADA people. I could be wrong, but it just looked like it may have been
And I think there's stairs that go up to it, so I don't know how that would be ADA.
Yeah, that's true too.
But I always thought it was too. I always thought it was like ADA seating. So.
But anyway, back to Cannibal Corpse. Again, the music was awesome again. We added this to our playlist. I do like the music now a lot more than I did. Why that is, I can't put my finger on it. There's a few reasons we talked about.
I felt like there was a lot less interaction at this show
I was
than
just about
other
to say that.
shows.
Yes, there was not a whole lot.
Yeah, and I wonder if it's just because they're time crunch, like
Maybe.
because it's not their show or like they didn't have as long of a time that they could play or something. But I really noticed that a lot. That I was just like, oh, he's not really saying much in between. And like, I mean, there's always like, got a head, like who can headbang as much as me? And like, I mean, obviously the I Come Blood song. Yeah. I mean, he has no neck.
Yeah.
But yeah, there just wasn't that interaction.
I felt the same way.
Remember.
Yeah, I felt the same way. There was a little bit at the end, I felt like, but for the most part, no, there was very little banter. And honestly, I love the banter from them. It's great. So
yeah, the first time I didn't like it, but when we saw him at the Sylvie, it was a little bit better.
Yeah.
So, and I was just kind of expecting, I mean, we've talked about this, like once you see a band multiple times, you kind of learn their banter. 3 Days Grace is number one for us on that. Like we know every single banter that they're going to do.
Most of us do most of the time, unless you're in Milwaukee and they're talking about buying houses, because that just makes perfect sense. That's where you'd want to make a home. Any case.
But yeah, no, but yeah, so like I was just getting ready for the banter and then it never really came. So, but one thing, I mean, I don't listen to Cannibal Corpse other than seeing them live. Like I mean, or if it comes up on the set list or the playlist from our concert playlist or whatever, but I don't know about you, but I never seek them out.
I don't either. It's on when it's on the shuffle and whatnot. And it comes out, I'll listen to it and I enjoy it. We do have a cassette we got last year at Milwaukee Metal Fest.
So once we get that,
once we get a cassette player, cassette deck going, we can listen to that. I'm super excited to listen to that. The packaging on that cassette is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I'm the same way as well. Like I said, I was super excited to see this show because again, the Sylvie gave me a new appreciation for this band live. And I really wanted to see that. And Carcass, I fucking love Carcass. So seeing them live,
miss them.
I was like, fuck, this is going to be an awesome show. And even though we missed Carcass, I was a little upset. And getting into the venue and the hotness of the venue and the train situation, whatever, I was fine with it. Cannibal Corpse was awesome. Put on a great show. It made me not as pissy, let's say.
Oh, okay.
It did what music should do. It turned my emotions around and made me happy again.
Yeah, I think that's a good thing. Yeah. And I think if it wasn't so hot, we would have maybe tried to push onto the floor a little bit.
Yeah.
Because there are some secrets at the Aragon. Like you can walk by the bars on the side and go
downstage left or right. Yeah.
Left or right, and then kind of go into the floor. There's generally room that you can step on. So that was my plan, is to do that.
But you had maybe too much of your cheeseburger at dinner.
Yeah.
And it was super fucking hot in there. So
my cheeseburger was really good, so I ate it. And then like it was so hot, it was one of those situations where like when you're hot and like you're full and like I just didn't feel well.
Yeah.
It was not good.
But then after Cannibal Corpse, we get Meshuggah, and I was super excited to see Meshuggah.
I was excited to see Meshuggah too.
And the floor cleared out a little bit, so we were able to step down onto the floor, all the way in the back, but still onto the floor.
Yeah, Bellroom we saw like Jack White. When I was like looking around, I'm like, oh, this is about where we were for Jack White. But Jack White, we were back there because I had no desire to be there.
Yeah.
But yeah, like almost that, like very close to the back.
So why don't you read off their set list for us?
Yep. They started with Broken Cog, Violent Sleep of Reason, Rational Gaze, Combustion, Kaleidoscope, God He Sees in Mirrors, Lethargica. I don't know if I'm saying that right.
Sure.
Born in Dissonance, Dancers to a Discordant System, Swarm, and then they ended their main set with Future Breed Machine. And then they had an encore of Bleed and Demiurge.
Sure.
Demiurge. Sorry, I don't know why I'm messing up on these words.
I was super excited for Meshuggah. We saw them, what, like a year ago?
Yeah,
at one of the casinos, right?
Or 2 years ago with In Flames, yeah. Was that last year?
Right, that was. I think that was 2023.
Yeah.
With In Flames.
Yeah, and Whitechapel.
Oh, right, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was at the end of 2023 in December at the Hard Rock.
Yep.
And we had seen them prior as well at Chicago Open Air.
Oh, okay.
They were there year 1 and year 2.
Okay.
And they were like, I think the only repeat band
From those 2 years?
for those 2 years. Yeah. And it was just sort of funny. And I remember people talking back then about, oh, this is math metal. You like, this is the math metal. And I've heard other people refer to Meshuggah as math metal.
Yeah.
Back then, I tried to listen to Meshuggah. We tried to listen to it around 2022 when we started this podcast. And
Just couldn't get into it.
I couldn't get into it. I enjoyed it, but I also didn't enjoy it. It's weird.
Yeah. Now, I enjoy it a lot.
I enjoy it a lot too.
Like, I'm going to look up what they're considered.
I would say progressive metal.
That's what I would say, yeah.
To me, this is like the progressive metal band for me. This and Dream Theater are like the main.
It says it's extreme metal.
Okay.
I mean, that's Wikipedia. Wikipedia has to be right? Oh, progressive metal, avant-garde metal, technical death metal, I can see. Groove metal, and gent is what it comes up as. But
yeah, I don't know much about it.
I mean, they're fucking Swedish, so
are they really?
It's awesome. Yeah.
Okay.
You didn't know that?
I mean, I thought they were Finnish. Honestly, I was thinking Finland.
Like, you should just know that they're Swedish because they're fucking awesome. But
even like that show we saw at the Hard Rock.
Yep.
I kind of knew they had really, really good light effects, and you don't really see the band that much.
No.
Because they are very much around the lights, the laser, the backdrops.
Yeah, it's the whole show aspect.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they do it so fucking well. This time, a little less well because there were definitely those white lights into the crowd, which, again, I hate. We just talked about this at the Whitechapel show. Like, I had expected to leave the floor for that set because of that. I ended up not watching any of the show because of the crowd and like just the awesomeness of the crowd.
I forgot to say it for the Whitechapel show, but when I saw the lights, I was really nervous that it was going to be, gosh, I can't remember the band that we saw at Concord, but it was like where it's just like flashing and you can't see anything. And like when the pit's going.
Oh, yes. I remember that.
Do you remember
I can't remember what one that was either, but yeah.
But like, that's what I was scared of is like, because I was like, I know this crowd is going to go crazy and I'm scared that it's going to be like that flashing where like you just can't see anybody until they're right there.
That was that issue at that show. I forgot about that.
But yeah, I remember the Hard Rock show as well. And just, I was kind of like, obviously I wanted to go to that show for In Flames and Whitechapel.
Yep.
And then in my mind, I'm like, okay, I'll just kind of stand back and listen to Meshuggah. But then once they started playing, I was like drawn in.
Yeah.
So.
I was honestly very tempted to bring edibles to this show.
Oh, I'm glad we didn't.
Maybe not. Yeah.
It was so hot.
It would have. Maybe you wouldn't have. I would have enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But
no.
I don't. I loved this show so much. I love this band so much. Seeing them live. Again, the whole performance aspect of it. The white lights again flashing in the crowd. I don't like that. I've said that many times before at other shows. This wasn't necessarily as bad because it wasn't constant.
It wasn't constant. Yeah. Yeah.
So you definitely got that, but then it would die down. There'd be other light effects and other things going on.
Yeah. Yeah. I did notice because I shit on Breaking Benjamin so much when we saw them and how like they just stand in a line.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, it's just fucking boring. They just stand in a line. They don't do anything. Like it's not a good performance. And then last night, about halfway through, I'm like, maybe I shouldn't shit on bands for doing that because Meshuggah just stands in a line.
Okay.
But
Let's
the
hear your
light
butt.
show, the lights behind them is what you're paying attention to. You're not paying attention to where they're standing.
Agreed. And like, again, it's technical. It's super fucking technical. What Breaking Benjamin is doing
is boring.
Not nearly as technical as this.
You're saying that they could move around.
Near. So they have more, and I'm not saying that they can't move around because of how technical it is. I bet they could move around as well. But again, you're not necessarily there to watch them put on a performance of them moving around and jumping all over the stage like Randy does, right?
Oh yeah, yeah, no.
You're there to hear the music and to experience the overall show with the lights and the effects and whatnot. So a completely different stylish show. But you're absolutely right. They do just sort of like stand there and whatnot. But again, I didn't mind that. It was like you see the silhouettes and whatnot.
That's what I'm saying. It's like it's all about the lights and like the whole projection and everything of what's happening. So and I don't know how to pronounce his name. If it's spelled kind of like Jen, but it's probably like Jan or something like that, just from being Swedish. But I can't pronounce the Swedish language at all. But he's the vocalist, and he does move around a little bit, which obviously probably has a little bit more freedom to do so versus a guitarist. But other than that, it's, I mean, yeah, they're just in a line. But so...
He's got a bald head and a beard like I used to have.
Yeah, so And he headbangs like you do too.
Oh, does he?
Yeah, where it's like a whole body headbang. But I love it. And actually, I want to I'm sad that you shaved your beard. Obviously, I think I've said it multiple times. Maybe not on the podcast.
Not on the podcast, yeah.
He has beard goals. You should work on growing that back out.
I don't know. I love this show. Moving on to the show. Back on track here.
Yeah. We were talking about it.
We were, yes. I love the show. Again, the heat was getting to you a little bit, so you walked downstairs.
I didn't feel well, so.
I think I walked downstairs with you, and we sat down there to cool off a bit, and you could still hear the music really well.
Yeah.
And just like the Sylvie show in Madison, after Cannibal Corpse got done, a lot of people left and didn't stay for Almond Amarth.
Oh, yeah, because we went and got water and beer, or you got a beer and I got water, and we were standing kind of by like the stairs, and it was just almost a stream of people leaving.
It really was. There was a lot of people constantly leaving. And again, a lot of these people, just like at the Sylvie show, came for Cannibal Corpse and then bounced afterwards. And we were talking amongst ourselves right down there. It's like, why the fuck would you do that? You spent... I guess tickets.
Maybe
if you did the BOGO,
maybe they got the BOGO.
The $20 some odd dollars. Yeah. Maybe then it's not that bad of a deal, but at the same time, stay and just listen.
Just listen to it, yeah. Like even if you leave at like 10 o'clock or something, at least give them more of a chance than 2 songs.
I'm trying to think, have we ever left a show early because we didn't like the music?
Yeah.
Have we?
Yeah. There's been a couple times where, like, we haven't left that early. Not like after like 2 songs. Like we've left after, maybe like an hour of it and just been like, okay, we're good. Like, yeah. And it has been because like we're just not into it.
I guess there's been a couple times, but it's not that.
But
not
very often though. Like
but even,
generally like even missing Carcass. Like generally we
try to be there for the openers.
We're there for the openers and we're there for the whole show. So.
But yeah, it was a steady stream out. We stood down there for a little bit. You said you were going to stay down there to you just couldn't deal with the heat.
Yeah.
I went back up.
I didn't stay down there for the whole time though. I stood back by the stairs a lot of that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I had to use the restroom again. So then I text you like, I'll just meet you downstairs.
Okay, so we both made our way up to the floor. We were standing in the back. I was like, I'm going to go try to find a spot on the floor. And I went from the first time we were on stage left, I went to stage right. And just stood in the back. I found a spot on the ground and just sort of hung out there. And I told you, hey, there's room over here if you want to come. And you came down for a little bit, and then you're like
30
it's
seconds.
Still too hot. I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
But I stayed there. Seeing that steady stream of people go down, though, I expected there to be a lot more room on the floor. There really wasn't.
No, I'm surprised. Unless it's less like they were from up front, like by the pit or something.
Maybe.
And then it was more like now it's not as crowded up here.
Yeah.
Versus being so tightly packed in.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, I stayed there for the rest of the show. It was fucking awesome. I had such a blast. Still pissed that I missed Carcass, but whatever. Yeah. I got to see this.
Yeah. I mean, Cannibal Corpse and Meshuggah put on a fantastic show for what we paid. So,
yep.
I mean, it does suck that we missed Carcass, but I guess a lesson for transit goers.
I guess so.
Now thinking about it, we had other options that we could have taken. Yeah.
So the show's over. We decided to leave. We're basically standing down there in the hall. Again, a great set from Meshuggah, a great set from Cannibal Corpse. I assume a great set from Carcass. I don't think I've seen a bad set from them.
And for how many people were already in there for Carcass, like that crowd had been amazing.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, we sat there. We waited a little bit. The crowd thinned out a bit. We were debating on if we get an Uber or take the train. Oh, yeah. We decided to take the train. We walk over to the Wilson stop where we got off, and we get up there. And I think the red line going south was like 8 minutes away or something like that.
No, it said 20 some minutes, but because the one that was supposed to be coming just had dots.
Oh, right. Yes. It was sort of like a...
So that means delayed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So whatever. And then your app said like it's going to be here in 1 minute or 2 minutes or something. So we waited there. That one that was delayed disappeared. And then it was like 28 minutes or some shit like that. Yeah. So it's like fucking goddamn trains. And you were really
mad. You got so mad.
It was a shit fucking train getting up there. It's a shit fucking train getting home. I used to, when we first moved to Chicago and started, like we said early on, we were transit people. We love public transit. I used to say Chicago is one of the world-class train subway systems. And that is me saying that as somebody who has never left the country. So
at that point, yeah.
So like I had no experience with other train systems.
Yeah.
We've been in Madrid now last summer, We want to go to other countries as well, and we've looked at some of their train systems because watching videos on YouTube and whatnot. The Chicago train system is actually very, very fucking shitty. It's better than New York. I fucking hate New York's train system.
Yeah, you have been to New York, yeah.
And like we've been to the BART in San Francisco.
Yep.
And Denver.
Yep. We take the train in Denver too.
Those have metro trains as well, or transit trains as well. I still say Chicago is better than all of those, but world class, definitely not world class.
Yeah, no.
Our train system here in the city fucking sucks. So many delays all the time. I fucking hate it.
Yeah.
But I love it at the same time. It's so fucking weird.
Yeah.
And this was just one of those nights as well where the train just sort of, fuck, this is bullshit.
Yeah. I just felt bad for people, like if anybody traveled in and they were staying downtown, like in a hotel, and like basically the only way to get back downtown unless you Uber which is what we ended up doing. We ended up getting Uber home. But.
And that's the same thing as getting up there. I meant to bring this up, but I didn't. When they said find other transportation to where your destination, our destination, the only transportation that I can think of was the train. I didn't even think about the buses. As you said, that's right there on that road, so we could have. I don't know. I just couldn't. I didn't think of that. But yeah, I don't know. Looking back on that night, it was a shitty experience getting to the venue. It was a shitty experience getting in the venue. It was a shitty experience with the heat in the venue. It was a shitty experience leaving the venue and getting home. But the bands were awesome.
Yes.
And the music was great.
Yeah.
And I loved the music. It was so good. I'm upset that the thing I'm going to remember most from this is the shittiness of it.
Yeah.
And not how great the music or the experience was. And a part of that is it's LiveNation. Honestly, that's what it is. It's that conspiracy in my head of they made it slow for me to get in to see music. They made it super fucking hot and uncomfortable, so I have to buy more liquids from them at an extremely marked up price. Fuck LiveNation. Fuck this. And then of course you throw the shitty ass trains on top of that. Like, I don't know. I'm a little upset that that's probably what I'm gonna like. If you ask me 6 months from now, what do I think about this particular show? It's gonna be all that shittiness and not the amazing
not how
sets.
awesome Meshuggah was and Cannibal Corpse was.
Yeah. So I don't know.
It was so funny because going into it, I was like, "Oh, 3 bands. We haven't seen 3 bands for a long time. It's been. It's been. Well, I guess we just saw Disturbed that had 3 bands, but that was 2 sets with Disturbed, so it was a long night.
Not the norm anymore. The norm is 4 bands nights, 4 band shows.
Yeah. So, but
I was excited for this, and again, the music and the sets were so fucking good. But 6 months from now, I bet it's going to be the shittiness that I remember the most.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. I'm almost to the point where Aragon's moved, because Aragon used to be like at my top list, and now it's moved down the list.
It's weird. It was on the bottom of my list. Then the first shows we went with you, it was at the top, and now it's back to the bottom.
Yeah. It's been shitty the last couple times for sure.
And again, it's not the venue. The venue itself is beautiful and amazing. It's how it's operated and who owns it that is really what's frustrating.
Yeah. 100%.
In any case,
I feel bad for everybody that was in line behind us.
Yeah.
Like they missed probably most of.
Probably,
like,
yeah.
I mean, they probably missed some of
a lot more of Cannibal Corpse.
Yeah.
At least half that set. And if they were there for that, like, holy shit.
I know. Anyways,
I'm still going to see venues, like shows at this venue.
Yeah.
Still going to go to see, I'm not that at all. In any case, I'm still going to see shows at this venue. I still really do like the venue, just all the other bullshit around it. We just got to
plan a little bit.
Yeah, I got to plan a little bit better. The music was fucking great, and it was a good night out, even though all that shittiness. But you know what? Even though if I'm not only going to think about the shittiness later on, it just means I have to go see these bands again live and just more music live.
Go see Meshuggah again. Yeah.
So get out there, check out some live music, and hopefully we'll catch you at the next show.
Bye.